And welcome back, folks. I said I was going to see this, and I was lucky to catch a really early show. I caught like a 10 a.m. showing of this. Yeah, so I saw Sketch today, and I should say this. I'm not, I do F with pure flicks. I do not like pure flicks. I don't like I don't care about the people who own it per se. It might just be for their faith put into them, whatever. And I understand the guy who like runs pure flicks or owns it. It's not a bad guy or anything. He's just religious. But more to the point, I don't like pure flicks at all. Like I don't like someone demonizing you for not believing what they believe, but and just constantly saying, "Oh, we're the right, you're the wrong," and which is basically kind of the whole fundamental concept of almost all their movies. Now, why I would bring up pure flicks because Angel Studios falls into a much lesser form of that category of filmmaking. They do have many religious based films, but they also have non-religious based films. I saw two trailers. I only saw two trailers because I got in late for the movie. I saw two trailers for two Angel Studios trailer films. The Senior with Michael Chiklis and a film, I believe it's Truth and Treason, I think it's called, taking place in World War II, about Jewish citizens are basically rebelling against Hitler. Neither of those are religious based, but what Angel Studios seems to lean more towards is more the uplifting kind of storytelling. Hope. Hope springs eternal. The faith. Faith in a different sense that isn't just religious. They do religious content, sure, certainly, but they do other things, which is why I can get behind them a lot more. I don't actively seek out going to their films though. If they got a film coming out and like a bigger film's coming out, I'm usually just going to pick the bigger film and nothing. But when I saw the trailer for this, I'm like, okay, this is from Angel Studios? This is a very different film for Angel Studios. And so, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. And I went in, watched it, saw it, and I'll say this. I like this film. I actually think there's some good messaging in this film. The acting rotates a bit, but the acting for our main leads are pretty good. The effects work actually looks pretty nice for what they're trying to do with it. So I mean, there's a lot I actually can dig on with this film. There's things I didn't like in this film, but overall, this is actually not a bad film. The story follows basically a family of three. They have just lost the mother. They never explain how she died. It's probably irrelevant. But you have Tom Hale playing Taylor Wyatt. You have Q Lawrence playing Jack Wyatt. I think it's Q or Q. I think it's Q. And Bianca Bell playing Amber Wyatt. Amber is dealing with a lot of, the emptiness, the void, the anger, the sorrow, all that, of losing her mother. And so she vents her emotions into her notebook, drawing all these terrifying, horrible things to vent her frustrations. Well, her brother apparently stumbles, and this is mostly in the trailer, stumbles upon this pond where whatever you dip in there basically recovers, it heals, more or less, it repairs itself. That or it resurrects, I guess. Maybe that's the religious symbolism here. I don't know. They never explain what this pond is, where it came from, why it does what they never do. Which, you know what, I'm kind of fine with that. But they never do that. And so he has a plan to do something, and it goes awry, and her notebook falls into the pond, and all the creatures and stuff, the monsters in her book, come to life. And it's weird to say, this movie is like a weird mix of four different movies. And this is honestly what I thought too in seeing the trailer. I'm like, let me see the movie first to see if that opinion sticks. It does, and I actually had to add a fourth one. It's a weird mix of a little bit of Bridge to Terabithia. It's a weird mix, Bridge to Terabithia. Oh crap! I had three. I know four of my three now. Where was the other? It's Bridge to Terabithia. Crap! I've been thinking about this whole analogy the whole time, and now I've completely forgot what one of the four was. Give me 1 second. I know I can think this up again. Okay, it's a mix of like Bridge to Terabithia meets. Oh, crap! I am blanking on what the fourth one it was that I had in my head here. There was something else I had, but also Harold and the Purple Crayon, and surprisingly a little bit of Inkheart mixed in there. Now, it's not as good as a couple of those films. Again, I'm still blanking on what that fourth one was. I've been thinking about it the last week. Okay, let me take Inkheart out of the equation. Bridge to Terabithia, um, Bridge to Terabithia, Harold and Purple Crayon stood out to me immediately. I can't, for the life of me, I have completely forgotten what that fourth one was. It's bothering me. But it was like a mix of kind of three different ones, and then the Inkheart one came into mind. I'm like, yeah, there's a little bit of Inkheart in here, surprisingly. Underrated movie, by the way, I think. But anyway, so it's kind of a mix of these films where it's focusing on the grief this family is feeling. It's focused, or at least it's trying to focus on the trauma this family is feeling. You got the dad who's trying to keep things together. You got the girl, the daughter, who is kind of a bit of a problem child, but not. And then you got the son who, feels responsibility for certain things. And what this film doesn't do right, let's focus on that first, because there doesn't do some things right. One, there's a character in this film that just needed to go away. Like, this character needed to go away. Even when they did something positive, it didn't negate how annoying they were, how obliviously freaking stupid they were. I don't care that this, spoilers, it's a kid in the movie. And you'll know immediately who it is when you meet them. But especially after one scene, I'm like, I hope bad things happen to you. And damn it. But yeah, by the way, it's very much implied that some people died in this movie. Like the creations came out and killed some people. But more to the point, yeah, this kid just was annoying. Like, even when they were being called out for shit they did, they just completely couldn't own. I get it. They're little. They're not even. I doubt they're even the age of 10, to be honest. But still, it's one of those things where it's like, what purpose do you actually serve? Comic relief? You're not that. Occasionally, there's a joke that works with it, but you're not that funny. You're not likable. So why did we put him here? Oh, because we need to make sure that it's lighthearted enough. We can't get too heavy, which that really leads me to another problem with this film. It needed to find a balance with its tone, because, and to lean into that problem, the music was doing too much work. Like, there are times where the music's working, but the music needed to shut up at points, or you needed to use different tracks. They were really trying to emphasize, oh, something creepy's happening, or something monumental. Like, sometimes you can just either use something minor for background noise, or just shut up. Like, seriously, which leads into, I think, honestly, the biggest problem with this film. It doesn't quite get its tone right. It is trying to be whimsical. It is trying to be, kid-friendly and wacky and satirical, which is, well, maybe not satirical, but wacky at points, but also enchanting at points. And at other times, it's being this really legit drama at points. Not all the time. Maybe not legit drama, but it's taking itself seriously enough to buy the serious moments. There's at least 3 different, like, heart-to-heart moments. There's a scene where she's talking with, like, her school therapist, and the therapist actually gives her really good advice, like, legitimate advice. And there's another scene where her dad and her are talking. They're in the car, and he also gives her advice. I'm like, these are all really good scenes that show, like, that I think are actually very important for people dealing with anger, grief, loss, that they can take lessons from. But then you're just like, wacky shenanigans. Like, okay, look, either pick, maybe if the music had just shut up a bit, I'd be more inclined to I could be able to find the balance more. But the fact is, the music couldn't shut up half the time. And it really does, it really hurts this film, I think. Now, that doesn't mean I dislike this film, because honestly, those are my biggest problems. The acting is a little hokey at points. Like, they're trying to get a laugh once in a while. Like, trying to. But otherwise, it's like, it's not that bad. And, like, it doesn't always work. Like, they're trying a little too hard, like, jokes and whatnot. But otherwise, like, okay, I like the family dynamic here. I do like it. because I believe the family. I believe this is a family that lost someone very important, and neither of them have been able to figure out a way to deal with it. So at least not effectively. So ultimately, it's like it's the culmination of grief, loss. I mean, what is grief? Enough love, persevering, as Vision puts it, and them, all three of them, trying to do their best in a scenario where not nothing that not one thing that each individual person is doing is the right answer. It's kind of a little bit of a combination of everything they're doing, and they acknowledge that and kind of bring it up. I will say though, it's not without laughs. I actually really did like the girl and the kid a lot. And I actually thought they got a lot of humor. I also thought the dad was kind of funny too. Like he's trying, he's stressed out, but when a joke happens with him that kind of works, it does work. Like it's not like it's devoid of humor. Like many of the jokes do work, but unfortunately, because of the tone they're setting or trying to set, along with the music just not shutting up, it's a it's hard for the laughs that are supposed to hit to hit. I'd say it works at about a 65-35%. I'd say about 65% of the jokes do work and about 35% of them don't. So just over a third don't work. And again, I think that's just because of the directing and the musical choices, I think. And because a lot of the comic relief is supposed to be coming from that little dipshit kid, and I just did not find him likable. Not most of the time he didn't have it. Occasionally, like I said, he has a good joke. But this kid's like kind of an idiot, like legit, and like he really doesn't have a sense of like he's kind of a little shitheel too. Like they do, like he even acknowledges I'm a butt, like I'm a butthead or a butthole, yeah. So there's that, but also the effects work. This is where the whole Harold and the Purple Crayon analogy comes in. I actually really like the fact that these creations, and they're not, it takes a little bit for them to show up, and once they show up, they're kind of prevalent throughout the whole film. But I really like the fact that these things literally look like they were a drawing lifted off a page. They look like they're made of just marker or crayon that's become sentient. I actually really like that about them. And occasionally they are kind of intimidating. Like there's one that's kind of actually your main antagonist a little bit that is actually kind of like a little creepy in its own way. You see them in the eiters, the eye spiders. They're kind of not creepy, but they're a little like make your skin crawlish a little bit. But otherwise, I mean, there's nothing that they're not truly scary until you see how like destructive they're being. So yeah, I mean, do I hate this film? No. Does this film have some problems? Oh, absolutely it does. It's not making my best of the year list, but it's probably not on my worst list either. I'd say I like this film. I'd recommend it. It's teaching actually really good lessons to your kids about dealing with grief and anger and pain. And to be fair, those lessons don't get big, even though the tone is mismatched a bit with the directing style. The messages are actually really sound in the movie. So I actually really appreciated some of the stuff I saw in this movie. I liked all the actors, the performers. Again, save the one kid, and I don't blame the kid. I blame the direction the kid was given, and the character the kid was given. But overall, yeah, is it going to be making any sort of list this year? No, it's not even an animated film. Can't even be guaranteed on the animated film list. But overall, I liked the film. I did. Now, have you seen the film yet? If you have, what did you thought? Or what did you thought? What did you think? If you haven't seen the film yet, or do you think you'll go see it? Let me know in the comments below. I don't know if it's got a wide release or not, is the problem. That's a good question. Let me check that real quick. Does it have a wide release right now? I can find exactly how many theaters it's in. Let's see here. There we go. And come on. Let's try that again, shall we? Well, normally I have a bar here for a bar. There we go. There you are. Box Office Mojo. How many theaters is this in right now? I only had like a mother and their son in there with me at 10 a.m., which I'm not surprised. It's 10 a.m. Let me see here. Sketch. What is the current theatrical release of Sketch? Apparently, this came out last year, but it's got a wide release this year. It's in over 2,000 screens. Okay, cool. But yeah, hold on. Let me actually see that real quick. What was this thing's actual original release? Let's see here. Release. Okay, it says August 6th, 2025. But if you just Google it, it says it's actually a 2024 film. So when did this thing actually get released? Hold on here. I'm checking that right now. And I need to put my computer on the charger. I was doing other stuff before I started doing the. I've been doing a lot of pre-recording today. Let's see, when were you? Okay, September. Oh, okay, at TIFF at Toronto International Film Festival at TIFF in September 7th last year. So that's when it got released. Okay, cool. We're all good. Oh, by the way, there was a nice little thing at the end during the credits where say, get ready for something sketchy in like 1 minute. I'm like, okay, I'll bite. And then I saw this little clip of this app. Apparently, they made this is actually if I still had any sketches like my sister made or something like that, I'd actually would almost consider downloading the app. They had a QR code for an app that literally can. This is where AI can be such just a fun tool. This is where I think AI can really serve a fun purpose. It literally takes sketches and drawings that kids make or anyone makes and converts them into an actual 3D, like a really good looking 3D creature image. So, yeah, I'm like, that's really nice. That's a really cool thing. that, honestly, put that app in a kindergarten or a preschool. The kids would love it. I like that concept. Absolutely. So I thought that was a really nice little thing. I thought that was a really nice thing at the end there. But again, this is all my thoughts. Maybe you'll watch the film, maybe you'll think it's the best film of the year, or you'll hate its guts. I don't know. Till then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.